Videogame Crosstalk is now part of the Game Insider Network. For gaming and comics, news, and reviews, go to game-insider.com for what you need. And there you have it.
Crosstalk, the unintentional transfer of signals between communication channels, a casual conversation.
This is Videogame Crosstalk, episode 046, the monthly podcast of gamers talking tech, science, and whatever else comes to mind. I'm your host, Anthony Rossi, and with me this episode is CEO of Claim to Fame Entertainment, Mike Crossman. Mike, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
This is going to be a good time. This Definitely. Has been an episode like a long time coming type of thing.
Definitely, yeah.
So how you been? What you been gaming on recently?
Oh man, so between the three kids, I've managed to have time to do Call of Duty Warzones because they're quick. If you die quick, you're out. Really like that. It's fast paced. I was big into PUBG, but it just PUBG felt long. These games are quick and they're fun. Okay. You don't really have to invest a lot of time into them.
I never got into the big battle royale games. It's just not my thing. I've talked about it a few times on the show how I'm more of like the solo RPG type of player. How long do these PUBG matches typically take?
I would say about anywhere from a couple minutes based on where you land to, I think the longest I've gone is like 25 minutes. So
that's pretty long for a single match.
Yeah, it feels quick though, because what happens is it's like so fast paced at the end, where the circles are getting smaller, and so I think I'm more of a I come from a World of Warcraft background, so I like the the lore aspect of games and raiding and PvP, but those take a lot of time. You have to invest a lot of time in those.
Yes, you do.
So I like the I just like get on quick games with the squad and going out and just getting a couple games in before bed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because going from World of Warcraft into the PvP centric games, that's a big change. That's a big change in focus and in concept.
Yeah, I'm big into League of Legends as well. I think I have a more of I like the competitive aspect of games. So
gotcha.
When I play I play World of Warcraft, but I do competitive raiding. I like to have the ranks on the server, and then PvP, obviously arenas and battlegrounds, the ranks on those, and then I guess that translates to League of Legends with the ranked system there, and then ranked gameplay or ranking in a battlegrounds. So if you get first place, it's just being competitive. It's that competitive nature.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just and this is one of the wonderful things about gaming is that there is pretty much something for everyone.
Definitely.
The competitive gaming, not my thing, but I get it and I understand it. The few instances I do a little bit of the PvP, mostly in Destiny and a few other games here and there. I get it. It's fun.
Yeah.
But it's different folks, right?
Yeah, definitely. And that's the good thing about gaming, like you said, is if you want to just hit a solo game, and I like Zelda. It's a very solo. It's a solo game, and
yes,
it's
very much so.
So, I like that aspect as well, but I just, coming from a sports background and being competitive, I just like to, either win or lose, but just being competing against somebody, I think that really drives me and that's what eSports, that's why I like eSports so much, because it's...
Oh, we'll be getting into eSports. Don't you worry. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
We'll be getting into that. The whole, So when did you kind of make the transition from the World of Warcraft and the RPG into more of the competitive, or were you always kind of blending the two?
Yeah, so I started my background in gaming was always like sports. So like
Okay.
Madden, FIFA, like NBA, any of the sports games that you could play. Because growing up with a twin brother, you would always have games where, 2-player games. So
Oh yes. So I do not have a twin brother, but I do have an older brother.
Yeah.
And yes, it was. As soon as you said, "Oh, we had the brother going on," I'm like, "Oh dear God, okay, I know exactly where that went."
Yeah, so
But,
like it was always driven to like, who's better at this game, and so we always played like a co-op games or 2-player games where we'd play against each other. So that's where, that competitiveness came from, where it's like, oh, who's better, who did this, and
oh yeah.
so sports was obviously the clear choice.
Well, and like back in the days, the sports games are fantastic.
Yeah,
because I mean they're the perfect couch co-op type of game, and just like get it going with your friends. When I was in college, I knew a few guys who would actually like do the full league thing on Madden or when NCAA still had a game.
Yeah.
Like they did the full thing where they would, create their college player and do the whole import into Madden thing.
Yeah, wow, that's back in the day. Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Oh yes, I am a gamer of a certain age, so to speak.
Yeah.
I've joked a few times about how talk about the RPG games where I still call it Final Fantasy III because that's what it said on the cartridge when I played it. I realize it's number 6 in the series, but I'm old, so shut up, you little whippersnapper.
That's funny. Yeah.
Very cool. All right, nice. So let's jump into the esports. Let's just get right into that. When did you start getting into the esports scene?
I would say probably like 2015, like 2014, 2015. We started, getting interested in I actually like the business aspect of it. I know.
Okay.
If I go back a little further,
sure.
I was competitive in Madden and in FIFA. So,
really?
Yeah. So I did the travel to different Madden tournaments in the city and FIFA tournaments.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, where would these tournaments or competitions take place? So down in New York City?
Yeah, mostly in the city. I'd go. I went to a couple in Massachusetts, like Boston area, but esports back in, I guess, 2000. Oh God, 2010. 10 years ago, it was a whole different scene. It was more underground. It was.
Oh sure.
It wasn't as.
It was just beginning. Like at that point, I'm trying to think. So 2010, I had just started dating my now wife, and it's like, I'm not even. I think I was. I'll come out and say it. I think I was still laughing at esports at that time. And I say that with respect because my perspective has changed, and again, we'll get into that later on. But I think I personally was still not taking it seriously at 2010. I think I knew that certain games, esports types games, were bigger overseas, like the whole, I want to say StarCraft.
Yeah, StarCraft, yep.
Is massive.
Yeah.
But I just kind of figured that was something that happened in the proverbial quote over there type of thing, not stateside.
Yeah.
All right. So 2010, you were getting into the actual competitions. So were they selling out the Barclays Center at this point?
No, they were like in people's basements or like like little
super underground punk show style. Nice.
Oh yeah, I mean these were like everyone brought their own equipment type of thing, like you bring your own game so you can play type of deal. Yeah, they weren't like how it is now where it's structured and it has like leagues and commissioners and rules and everything. It was like you got a sheet of paper with the rules and everyone had to read them. I mean, it was very underground, but like I mean, even to this day, I mean, even in this area, esports is still fairly like like a question mark when people talk about
Yes.
it. So, yeah, you can imagine 10 years ago what it was like.
Oh, I'm imagining like some type of like dimly lit, grungy basement, bare knuckles boxing style esports tournament.
Yeah, like Fight Club, nobody
Yeah,
talks about
exactly.
it. Definitely.
So like too many people smoking cigarettes in a closed room.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2010, you really started getting into the actual tournaments and such. When did you decide to take this to the next level and establish what is now claim to fame?
Yeah, so that's around 2015 after, years of like competing and, at whatever level I was competing at, I saw different opportunities where, gaming was getting more involved in like a pop culture, and you could see like kids were asking for, PlayStation 2, and like it was you could see the age was getting younger and younger and younger for like competing. So it was never really an opportunity here in the capital region to say, oh, like where can I go to get better? Like who can I play against the best? And like there was never that outlet. So my brother and two of my friends came up with the idea of, getting equipment and providing like a service for like the esports community or like competitive community, because not all esports and like is competitive. I mean, competitive gaming, like the couch games, and those are a little bit different, but they had like that. There was no structure to it, as in like, where are we meeting up and where are we doing this, and like, and everyone had to bring their own equipment. I remember hauling around CRTs and Xbox and Halo, so yeah, exactly. And I just we thought that like, how could we make this like a little bit more professional, but also have some structure where, let's go to the local GameStop and have like a Madden tournament at a Madden release. And that really like sparked ideas of, really building that part of the community, but also providing an outlet for these gamers to have opportunities to showcase themselves.
Right. Because there's definitely demand for it at this point. Like at this point in time, there's obviously a growing interest and demand, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can see a lot of sponsors jumping in. You can see a lot of like different companies trying to hone in on that esports demographic, because, you got these streamers and these gamers, pro gamers on Twitch, with hundreds of thousands of views, and there's definitely an opportunity there. And it's especially with like everything that's going on with COVID, like you're in home, you have to, these gamers can't go out. So there's opportunity to stream and start building your product there, your brand, I always like to say. So
ain't got nothing else to do right now. So.
Exactly. So yeah, there was definitely an opportunity to help the community. Just what we really wanted to do was enhance the community. The community was always there. There was fractions here.
All right. Gotcha.
And we really wanted to push the professional aspect where all you had to do was show up and the equipment was there for you. The tournament was ran by like tournament organizers, and, it was in a professional setting. It wasn't in just somebody's basement. It was at different venues, whether it would be Dave & Buster's or Lucky Strikes, or, somewhere that had a venue with a big space. So we really started pushing that about 5 years ago. And it spawned a couple different, companies in the area that we've worked with, Game Insomniacs. We've worked with Pastime Legends, and we, to do different events. And you can see that there's that continuous trend of now the colleges are doing it. St. Rose has an esports program. UAlbany has an esports program. And that's really what our goal was to help just shed some light on the esports community in the capital region and show that there is someone, trying to provide that service for people.
Mm-hmm. So where were your first competitions? Where were those held?
So the very first one that I could name off the top of my head was at a GameStop. So we had, so we did a Madden release party. It was a Madden, and then the same month it was Halo. So we did a Madden tournament, and it was like we partnered with Domino's and GameStop and Latham, and
Nice.
they sent pizzas. Uh, they gave us like shirts and frisbees like from Domino's.
Yay! Gratuities. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? If they got them in the back room and they got advertising dollars to spend, might as well.
Definitely.
Right?
So we partnered with the GameStop, and we said, hey, we'll bring our Xboxes and our PlayStations and our monitors. All you have to do is like provide the game for us to use at that point. And everyone that was waiting in line for the midnight release for that game was entered in the tournament if they wanted to play, and then the winner got a free copy of Madden. They got their copy paid.
Nice.
So it was
nice.
Yeah, it was a cool little thing, you know. Second place got like half off or whatever. So it was cool, you know. And we did the same thing with Halo. So we did multiple different ones with GameStop. We did an NBA 2K one. Where they gave a free copy of NBA 2K tournament. So we did at Crossgates. That was pretty cool. We had a DJ there and everything.
Oh wow! Bring the whole party.
Yeah. So it was. We were setting up these little foundational pieces for esports to start. You know, obviously that was free advertisement for us, and then so on and so forth with building. You know, putting the blocks together for it.
Oh sure, yeah. You got to start somewhere, and man. I really did enjoy going to a few midnight releases. I was late to the game as far as heading up the midnight releases.
Yeah.
I can't remember the first one I went to. I want to say it might have been Fallout 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe somewhere around there. Then I started to go. There was a great one, and I can't remember which local mall it was held, but it was for GTA 5, and it was just like a massive crowd, hanging out in the hallway of the mall, and it was just a fun time because some of the employees, they had a bunch of giveaways from like advertising and stuff that they were trying to get rid of, and just like throwing out random quiz trivia type questions.
Yeah.
The Destiny one was a lot of fun. Yeah, like they tried a few times to set up little games or activities, but they were kind of awkwardly placed and not really well thought out type of thing. So it must have been a blast to have like an actually organized tournament for the game on its release night. That must have been a blast.
Yeah, I mean, we also did one for, I believe it was Injustice 2. So not an esport per se, but like a competitive game, and we set up some fighters, and we brought the Sega Genesis and did some like old school Mortal Kombat.
Oh boy, okay.
So we do things like that, and what we really wanted, like our goal was just to, like I said, have this space for the community to come out and enjoy gaming and meet other gamers. And that's really our mission. Our mission statement is that, per se, is to really like just build that community so that people have an outlet for gaming or gamers and gaming culture, gaming entertainment. Not just esports. Esports is awesome. I love esports, but we really I'm a gamer at heart, so we understand that kind of culture is still something that is, I mean, kind of underground still, but more like, there's really in this area nowhere to really showcase that. So
it's in a really weird phase. It's still like, I'm not sure how to describe it as far as gaming culture is concerned. Within the culture itself, it is very out in the open, unashamed, very social, very accepting. But then as soon as you step out of your little gaming circle, you get looked at funny. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. 100%. Yep.
It's, like, everyone knows that gaming culture is a thing. Like, it's known. Like, there's advertisements all over the place. There's events all over the place. And, like, everyone knows that people of all ages play games, but it's almost as if they're still in denial or still holding on to the last, like, stigmas and outdated ideas of, I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely, it's funny, I've had different, those questions asked to me, like, the gaming culture, the gaming stigma is like, that of, lazy and not driven to do like like being an entrepreneur in gaming is like, oh, how did that come through? Like, oh, do you have nothing else to do? And
Yeah, right.
and when you really look at the business aspect of gaming, it's no different than like sports, like it's entertainment. These sports guys get paid millions. The athletes get paid millions. They're representing a brand, which is their team. And it's no different than gaming. You play Nintendo or you play PlayStation, you're a gamer for that brand, and so we get a lot of that, but obviously in different countries it's different. In Asian countries, gaming is like the go-to thing, and more mobile gaming, but gaming in general, and here it's just I think it's just because it's a stigma that just sticks around.
Yeah, it's loosening, I feel.
Yeah,
but you know what? Let them.
Yeah.
It's like let them. I started going to cons, I don't know, maybe around 5-6 years ago, and it's like I'm kicking myself for not going to cons sooner. They're an absolute blast to go to. So much fun.
Definitely. Yep.
And that was even before I was doing the podcast, where and that's kind of another thing. You dip into these new social circles, you dip into these new social networks and start meeting other people like who enjoy this same hobby or the same entertainment choice. And there's people from all different walks of life and so many different, unique individuals. And I've had the opportunity to talk to some amazing people doing this podcast and going through these cons, and to hold on to those old stigmas. Dude, you're limiting yourself so much, and you just don't know.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean.
And yeah, I've met awesome people doing. We started doing the con thing, and we've done some, events at cons, and we've also, just gone to cons for the enjoyment.
Hey, how much fun was Empire Gaming Expo?
Oh, that was such a blast, and we need more of those.
Yeah, we definitely. They'll come back. Talking to the organizers, Patrick and Nathan, like they were heartbroken that they had to cancel this year.
Yeah,
or postpone, I should say. They were absolutely heartbroken. But I mean, there's nothing you can do right now. I mean, I've been maintaining this podcast for the most part throughout this whole pandemic, and I could have sworn that we would have been done with it by now, and we might have had a shot at some of the fall con schedules, but apparently, still here. Apparently, we're still going.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, but I think it's going to be. When everything comes back, I always say to everybody, let's just relax. And then when it comes back, it's going to be, better than ever because everyone's going to be excited to go out and do things. And
people are going to be aching to go do some stuff. They are going to be ready to roll as soon as we're able to do anything.
Exactly. I wanted to go see a movie, and I totally forgot that the New Mutants just came out. I wanted to see that, and I forgot that our theaters were completely closed. So it's
you're going nowhere.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate. But I'm looking forward to when everybody can get back to. Going out and having fun and doing, whatever they enjoy out with other people.
Definitely.
Did you know that Videogame Crosstalk now has a Patreon? It's true. If you enjoy what you're hearing and would like to support the show, go to patreon.com/VGXTpod and become a supporting member like Susan Mays. All levels include access to Patreon-only mini-episodes I call VG Extras. Taken from this recording, Mike and I talk about the new Witcher mobile game that is based off a very, very friendly game, but of course has that special Witcher twist and flavor to it. Once again, go to patreon.com/VGXTpod and become a patron today.
All right, so we're going to move on into some gaming and geekery talk. And the first one I got here. Now, this is really interesting to me as far as like excuse me, as far as technical development is concerned in gaming. And I just got this quick little article from Eurogamer, and Deathloop blocks the PS5 DualSense controller trigger when your weapon jams. How crazy is that going to be?
It's crazy and probably frustrating at the same time because
amazingly frustrating.
Yeah, when I read that, I was like, "What?" Like, I mean, I get the elements of like bringing like VR and like kind of normalizing VR because I know that's a big industry that people are gonna like developers are gonna start moving towards. So when they can start sneaking things in like that, where there's like in the gameplay stuff happens like that, I think that's I think it's a good way of introducing kind of like that VR feel. With like VR, I like VR, but it's like it's a lot at once and people like the games and people like the way the games are played. And so if you can introduce little things like this into gaming now, when VR starts becoming more normalized, I think these things will help that, so.
Oh, sure. But this is something I would have never even thought was possible.
Yeah.
Type of thing. I mean, I get the idea, maybe not engaging the tumbler inside of the controller, so you just get like a dead click or something like that.
Right.
I pull the trigger, nothing happens. But this is going to prevent you from actually pulling the trigger. Let me get back to that. All right. So from the article, as Bakaba explains, when your weapon jams in-game, the controller will block the triggers, preventing you not just from pulling the trigger virtually, but pulling the trigger on the DualSense. Like,
Yeah, that's interesting, and I wonder who developed, like, who is sitting there like, oh, this is a great idea, and then
who is the evil son of a gun that's like, all right, how else can we mess with the players in this situation? This kind of makes me think of, I mean, there's only a handful of games that really utilize every aspect of the DualSense controller. So I just transferred over to PlayStation only a few years ago. I was on Xbox for the longest time.
Yeah.
And I think it was Infamous Second Son was one of the first like PlayStation exclusives that I picked up. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm on PlayStation now. I need to make up for lost time. What are some exclusives I can play real quick? And I picked up that one at the local store. And in that game, you have to, spray paint graffiti around the city of Seattle, and it's more or less collectibles. They can go find the locations to spray paint the graffiti. But the way they do that is they have you turn the controller sideways, and so it's like vertical.
Yeah. And
you grip it and you pull the trigger and you like shake the controller and move it around as if you're actually using a can of spray paint. I'm like, that is I mean, it's simple, but it makes use of the additional technology, like the motion control stuff that's in the controller. And not many games use that. I mean, there's a few games that use the touchpad.
Right.
But that's about it. There's really no use of the additional technology that's like native to the controller itself. So to see that movement go into, or to see some movement towards using the tech that's inside the controller itself as its own little peripheral, I'm excited to see what other types of things people are going to come up with. I have no idea where we can go from here, but
yeah,
that's where mine's more creative than mine.
Yeah, no, I think that's very interesting. I think I'm a PC player, and so I don't. The consoles, I used to have the PlayStation 2, and then moved on to like the Xbox and went through Xbox. And then I just like PC, obviously World of Warcraft's PC game. So it just gravitated towards more PC games. And that's interesting that the controllers are actually interactive like that. I didn't even really notice that, or knew about that. And I think I think it's a cool thing. I think it brings more, it engages the player a little bit more. So
every little bit of depth that you can get, every little bit that you can add just adds to the immersion.
yeah,
And it's really cool to see developers tapping into some of this kind of ignored tech or ignored opportunities.
yeah.
All right, moving on. Next little article. So I understand you're an esports guy, but I had to throw this article in here for Dragon Age 4. We got a first look trailer from Gamescom. And so you mentioned that you played some of the larger fantasy games earlier in the episode. Are you a Dragon Age fan?
I did play the first two, and everything that I play, those fantasy type, RPG games always just hit me back into WoW because, it encompasses all these different things. And obviously the games have their specific things and, they have different things that draw their fans. Every time I get into I want to get into a different game, I'm just like, oh, this just reminds me of the game I'm already playing, and I invest so much time in. So it's hard for me to get immersed into those, But
that's unfortunate because Inquisition was amazing. It was really good.
Yeah, I heard great things about that, and I don't get me wrong, Red Dead Redemption was a game that I got into because of what you can do and just the map and what you can do with the character in the game. It's just amazing game. So but as a gamer, you only have a certain amount of time for a certain amount of things.
Oh, I get it. I mean, at this point, okay, so what I'm doing right now as far as my gaming is concerned is I'm working my way through Witcher 3, which obviously is just a quick little skip in the park, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I passed on Witcher 3 when it originally came out because I did not play the previous Witcher titles, and I had just completed 200 something hours in Dragon Age Inquisition. And I'm like, I can't dive into another 200-hour RPG,
right?
Fantasy RPG. I gotta switch it up. I gotta do something else. But what I've recently been doing, and I do not play WoW, but I do play tons of Destiny, which is essentially, I mean, they're moving further and further into the MMO type space.
Yeah.
But what they've been doing are these seasons, these little every quarter, basically every 3 months, there's a new little bit of story that moves the campaign along or the overall story along. There's a new brief seasonal activity. There's this little stuff that just lasts for 3 months, and then the clock resets, and there's another new little bit of lore, and it's been great. So what I've been doing is I will play that season to my heart's content and check off as many of the little check boxes for the seasonal completion. Yeah. And then I just put the game away for the next month or month and a half. Yeah. And I go on to other games. I'm like, you know what? I've gotten my fill. I've checked these boxes as far as progress is concerned. From here on out, I would just be doing more grinding for level advancement, but I'm not concerned about that. So awesome. I enjoy the game. I'm going to put it aside for a month and a half. And I'll come back when the new season drops. So, and right now, the new season, because of COVID, got pushed out to November 10th. So I've got plenty of time to play other games. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been playing other games. I've started on the Yakuza series, and right now is Witcher 3. Mm-hmm. So I can enjoy it now.
Yeah.
I can actually, I can only play an hour or two at night, intermittently. So it's last night I did a crap ton of side quests. Yeah. Basically, not even going to try to advance the story. We're going to accept and just do a whole bunch of side quests moving through. Yeah. And it's worked. But for Dragon Age, oh man, every time I see a new trailer that the game is being designed specifically for the upcoming tech as far as the next gen consoles are concerned.
Yeah.
It's just how long And it seems like we say this every generation. How long until we're playing live action movies?
Yep.
You know?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like, following the different games that are coming out, especially for new gen, the graphics are getting to the point where you're just like, even with the sports games, it looks like you're watching the sports like live, and these games with the combat system and like the fluidness of them and just how they're getting designed. It's just like, wow, like you're just gonna like that, that's great. It's crazy that you think that, because like soon you're just gonna be in your own movie, like, and you're just gonna be right. And I think like the Witcher games have that same feel too, and like Assassin's Creed and those games, like where they were and where they are now, it's just like you get so immersed in them.
Yeah. So pretty, but like not just pretty, but so massive and expansive. I like to tell people about certain aspects of gaming where, like, all right, here's a picture, here's a screenshot from a game, and no, this isn't a rendered cinematic. This is just like in game walking around. If you happen to just like stop and look around, this is the kind of stuff you see. But beyond that, and what was really demonstrated in this trailer and some of the new screenshots that they shared, is that if you look out in the distance of this screenshot, that is not a backdrop. That is a mountain that you can actually climb. That is actually a 3D rendered environment that is scalable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's insane.
So this is just like, this is going to be an example of where I tell people, no, really, games are art. Games are a mature art form. Yeah. And the wild creativity and imagination that it takes to create something on this scale is just absolutely astounding. And I really hope EA is letting BioWare just be BioWare.
Yeah.
I really hope.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Ooh, Mass Effect Andromeda, that stung.
Yeah.
That stung a little bit. I mean, it was a great game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But there were certain aspects of it where I thought to myself, this got cut short and shunted because of a corporate decision. Like this everything flowed beautifully and artistically up until a very distinct point in the campaign. And then we took a different direction. We had to finish this project up really quick and move our assets to other initiatives. I'm like,
Yep.
Okay, business is business. Business is business.
And it sucks when you can tell that they did stuff like that, because I playing different games over the years, you can see where they rush stuff. And like, it was great. And then towards the end of the gameplay, you're just like, wait, what? Like, why? Why? And then,
we're just going to end it here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is all this beautiful development and conversation and exposition. And I completed the quest. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, moving on to the next thing, I guess. But all right. And now we're going to get into the article that I feel that you would have quite a bit to say about.
Definitely.
Yeah. So this has turned into quite the saga. And basically, if you've been following the game news space, this is a big story that just continues to develop and take interesting turns. And essentially it's, I think, I'm not sure if Google joined the fray with this, but the article that I have listed, and you can go and find so many other spin-off articles and updates, is Apple fires back at Epic lawsuit saying Fortnite maker asks for special deal. So from the best that I can gather, Epic tried to introduce a new pay mechanic where you pay Epic directly for your skins and other microtransactions. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is your space, so I'm going to let you discuss this. So, give me your take on what's going on here.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, something I've been watching because, we are developing an app, so we deal with Apple, we deal with Google, and we have to.
Right. I am so sorry. I did not ask you about the app that goes along with Claim to Fame. My apologies. But you know what? Let's get into that after while we discuss this. So yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah. So there's certain loopholes or certain guidelines that you have to follow for Apple and Google so that your phone is secure and like you're not developing an app that gives or does certain things to hurt the company, either backdoor them with money because they want to make money too. But so from what I've gathered and what I've looked at is obviously Epic has become this huge monster because of Fortnite. They're just this whole big company, and they just got, I think they're just huge now, and so massive
success of this one game has turned Epic huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
And so, when I meet with CEOs all the time to talk about different things and whether it's gaming, esports, or like education or any of these things, but when you ask somebody for a special deal and you've been working with them and they're a multi-billion-dollar company as well, I don't think they really probably don't care that Epic is this multi-billion-dollar company, and when you're asking for favors and then you go in and with a hot fix and make it so that you don't have to go through Apple to do stuff, that's a big no-no. I mean, these guidelines that you have to follow, they're huge. You know what I mean? They're not simple. They're like to the T. And then if you submit a app design or development and they go through it and they kill it, they hammer this thing to the ground. I
believe it
to the point where you have to redo the whole app and code it and everything. So to see it at this level and see it at that level, hearing about it at that level, I'm just like that. Apple is providing a service for you. I mean, yes, you are a game developer and you develop this game and you have the rights to these other games, but like Apple is the company that provides these things for you. So like if they can't do something special for you, and the fact that you even had the brass to ask that is like
oh yeah, they shut them down quick.
Oh yeah, they were just like absolutely not. Yeah.
Yeah. And didn't they put like PUBG as one of their featured apps like the next day?
Yeah, I get that. Listen, it's a competitive world out there, but that's the thing. Like, and then for them to sue and then get them, I don't know if Google's on board because I don't know. Google is more lax than Apple. Just development wise and like what you can submit, and they give you a little bit more freedoms, and that's why usually you'll see apps go Google first because they're it's just
they can get it out.
Right, they give you more freedoms in different like things that you can do, where Apple just like really hammers you to the ground and says, okay, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. So to see it at that level with our app development, and then to see it at that level with like I respect Apple for saying no, like let's just keep it the way it is. We have guidelines. Everybody abides by those, whether you're Mike from Claim to Fame or you're, Chris from, Epic Games. Everybody has to abide by the same. So I think, I applaud them for doing that. And I want to see how it turns out, but I don't see Epic really getting around this one. Like,
yeah. So the idea is that they opened up this mechanic where you can pay them directly for their stuff. And the reason why Apple is like shutting them down is because I'm sure it's in their like agreement statement or contract or protocol. I can't think of the proper word right now, but like they take a cut of microtransactions that operate through their storefront. But this is understandable because they are the platform for distribution of your app or game or software, right?
Right. Yeah.
So they are the ones that help distribute it. So if you are going to have your game listed or your app listed on their service, you need to abide, like you said, by all these different requirements. And like I've never done app development, but I have heard that it's pretty much known. That's the thing, that Apple is very strict and demanding.
Yeah.
And what this kind of seems like to me is that Epic just didn't realize how massive Apple is. Like, Epic is huge, sure, but it's on like a scale, or like by an order of magnitude, how much larger Apple truly is and how much power they have over the apps that they promote and distribute on their platform.
Definitely.
So, like, at first, I was like, I'm thinking to myself, what just happened? Is Apple overstepping their boundaries? Is Apple just being a big bully, and they don't agree with something that a developer is doing, so they're just going to shut them down? And then you read into it more and think, oh no. Epic, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Like, if Apple allows them or like backs down from things like this, other companies will just say, "Oh well, I'm going to do this," and and it's just going to
the floodgates will open fast.
Yeah, so like they really obviously need to set this and set the tone. Like, don't mess with us. We don't care who you are. Like, we don't care what you've done for us or what we've done for you. You know, you're a customer, and this is the service. You know, so.
Yeah. In a way, I hesitate to bring in the comparison to organized crime, but it kind of reminds me of like the mobsters who are trying to get flex their muscle a little bit, but they have no concept of like the small time gangsters have no concept of how deep the true mob actually runs. And I really do hate myself for making the comparison of Apple to an organized crime. but like. Yeah. It's kind of like the scale and magnitude of power and influence is what I'm trying to get at. It's like you have no idea what you're trying to go up against. You're just going up against like the front-facing representatives or the front-facing, interface. Like to see behind the curtain, to see how far their reach actually is. Like they are far beyond. Like, did Epic just assume that they were dealing with a single aspect of the Apple empire for app distribution? Because they got resources far beyond just their little app store.
Right.
And I think that's what they got smacked by with the full force of the Apple like distribution empire. Like, you don't know what you're dealing with, dude.
Right.
This is way beyond you.
Yeah.
This is
and like I said at the beginning, I think either Epic has gotten to the point where they don't care because they're at this level. I mean, I wouldn't say they're at the level of Apple, but I'm saying they're getting there. With this
they are,
and so I think they were just like, well, okay, you don't want to do us a favor, we're just going to do things like this, and then we'll just settle in court. And is that the way you want to see it? No, but like. Sometimes,
yeah, but here's the thing: you can try to settle in court if you want, but you violated a contract.
Exactly. No, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like, where does Epic
game plan here, dude?
And that's where I say, like, where does Epic get this mindset? Like it's so like they're blinded by like whatever that they have like in the guidelines. This is what you have to do. Like, so we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah. So do you guys, for Claim to Fame, run Fortnite competitions?
We have. We did it on the Xbox. So
okay.
What we did was we set up like 12 Xboxes, and we did like these custom like 2v2 games where it was like a more of like a kill race tournament. So like you'd go in with a squad, and it'd be two of your team, like your teammate against two other people. They go into a squad game, and whatever team has the most kill, the two, but you're in the squad, whoever has the most kills moves on, type of deal. Or you do best out of three. And it was interesting because like obviously we don't have 100 Xboxes to do like a whole server.
Yeah, that sounds expensive.
Yeah. Not for Fortnite anyway. I'm not doing that. So
no. So this is really just going to affect like and yeah, I'll say it, the casual players and like the kids, basically.
Yeah, the kids that are buying, like, hey mom, let me get your credit card for like I need to buy these coins for whatever. Those like the V-Bucks and stuff. I don't think it's going to affect anything like server wise or any like tournaments or world championships.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to get into. Like, is this going to affect the esports scene at all, or do you think it's just like the casual players?
I think it's the more, because obviously it's mobile, their mobile version. So like you don't really see their mobile version played that often in tournaments. Now there are tournaments for it, but like the esports scene is more on the PC or console based on. But I think it's like the world championships of Fortnite, all PC, you know. So like you're gonna see like maybe different sponsors veer away or something, but I don't see a big impact on it for like the professional aspect of it, unless you're a pro Fortnite mobile player that plays on an Apple device.
If there's in particular a very niche, very niche audience right there.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, so I think you know, I think it's interesting. I'm definitely gonna watch it, and you know, like I said, us with our app, you know, we follow a very strict guideline on it. So, and we don't do anything like microtransactions or anything. So, obviously, Apple's going to want to see some kind of form of, if they're going to have the game on their, you know, development platform, they're going to want to see some kind of payment.
Okay, so you know what? I'm just going to throw this segment in right now because I don't have anything in particular originally for my capital region unlocked. But you know what? Let's talk about your app for a little bit, and we'll consider that as as my capital region spotlight. Story. So if you haven't figured it out by now, and I'm speaking to the listeners right now, Claim for Fame is local to the capital region of New York. And you guys have been doing tournaments and competitions and events all over the area. And to go along with your brand and with your initiatives, you've developed your own app. So let's talk about the app a little bit. What is it? What's the intent? What can someone find on it?
Sure. So the app is called Claim Your Fame. So it has a good play on the claim to fame entertainment. And so the idea for the app was created about a year ago, and it goes further. You know, before that, we were in some
kicking around ideas and stuff.
Yeah, so about the time we started Claim to Fame Entertainment, we wanted to create a platform for gamers to showcase their, you know, gameplay, their social medias, their highlights, and you know, developing a website like that and having like a membership or whatever, that is a pretty penny. That costs a lot of money, you know, running the server, you know, getting the design and everything. So that was something that was going to be something once Claim to Fame started really rolling, we were going to move on to the next phase. And so I had the opportunity to secure an investor for the idea of an app that helps gamers, streamers, and content creators like build their brand. So we do a gamification of like a profile similar to any profile that you like make on a social media, and it's completely free. And what we do is we use a leveling system based on like your brand potential or your brand identity. So when you do stuff on the app like create events or share content or like upload videos, these things go towards leveling your profile, and the higher your level, the more you're showcased. So right now we're very focused on like the gamer, the streamer, the content creator in that space, but we're building the foundation for entertainment as a whole. So musicians, you know, personalities, influencers. So what we want to do is, and again, this is the whole community feel, the whole like that whole grassroots of like, you know, where do I start if I want to stream, and like how do I start building my brand? How do I start building like my, you know, my image? And it starts with your social medias. You know, you put out content in your social medias, and you start, you know, posting stuff, and you start you're putting content out and you're being consistent on it. You're either posting twice a day, once a day, twice a week, whatever you're doing. But these things are building your brand. And so we created this idea of like, well, you're already doing it. You're already posting on social medias. You're already streaming on Twitch. You're already going live on Facebook. Let's make it fun, a fun way of building that platform for yourself so that it could lead to opportunities, whether it's a career opportunity or, a team, like signing with a team, or, an event sponsorship. These things are like, we found that there's a huge opportunity in the market for, finding that next ninja or that next, big streamer like Dr. Disrespect, or finding that next, cosplay streamer combo, So what we wanted to do is we wanted to create this like free, fun, like app that helps you you're doing these things already, but it helps you like just get more involved and focused on the community. And so a sponsor, let's say someone's interested in sponsoring an event, they can go search for what they're looking for. Maybe they're looking for a cosplayer in a certain area. And so this is where the levels come in. And let's just use Albany for an example, right? Let's say the Empire GameCon wants to get the top cosplayer in Albany. So they'll go on the app and they'll go to content creator and cosplay, and then they'll go and see and search Albany, New York, and they'll see, the list of cosplayers in Albany and their brand quote unquote potential. So based off their level. So obviously the first person on the list would be someone that might have the most brand exposure on their social medias, is involved in the community because they attend events and they check into the app and they're very involved in the app. And so that reflects, they say, oh, okay, maybe that leads to an opportunity for them getting hired for this con. So, and it goes to gamers, like organizations that are looking for players. Say you're a Fortnite player and you're searching for a team or a college. You can go to these different profiles on our app and see, okay, I want to see local teams in Albany that are looking for a Fortnite player, and then I can reach out to them and I can view their social medias, which is viewing their brand. So, and it makes it fun because then, you create an event for, let's say you create an event for this podcast, right? You can have, you can link the podcast link to it once this is published, and you can have people check into that specific event, and it just showcases the event and it helps you level your brand. So let's say 300 people check into the release of this podcast event on our app, right? That helps you level your profile. Because
I was just thinking,
it's almost like a currency, and you're similar to like Destiny and leveling. The more you do, the more you level. So the higher the level, the more you're showcased. So
right. So I was actually thinking, like, I am on your app.
Yes,
I do have a profile on there. I haven't been doing much with it because I just haven't. I'm dealing with 2 kids at home and a full-time job and all that other fun stuff, unfortunately. But it is interesting to know that I am able – do I post stuff?
So what we're doing and the way we want to be a little bit different and have our little niche in the esports or this like the app space is like, you're posting our post would be like if you're creating an event and then that event is showcased. So that's what I need
to do. So I'll need to create an event, and that event will be like the release of my podcast or one of my YouTube videos.
Right. And then people can see now that's showcased to everybody on the app. And so people can say, oh, let me check this out. And once they check into that event, and this is just a simple click, check in, they can see all the information of like the stream link or the website link, and you can link any of your URLs. And then obviously that's another outlet of people viewing your material or your content, and that works for streaming, that works for gamers, that works for podcasts, that works for like video content, maybe like a show or whatever. So it encompasses all those things. And obviously there's not really much to do on the app because we're building the foundation.
Hey, we're building it, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But we actually just secured our phase 2 last week. So we're building
nice.
Yeah. So we're building more user experience in it so that you can do more in the app. And so let's say you wanted to take a clip of this, podcast. You could take this clip of this podcast and put it onto your profile, and then people can view your kind of like quote unquote resume or some of the highlights that you've done. And the same with gameplay. Like if you have a cool gameplay, you could do the same thing, upload a video. And then the cool feature that we're adding is anytime somebody likes or shares your content, they're gaining experience and they're gaining you experience. So it's almost like, hey, let me help this guy out, but I'm helping myself out as well, because that's how building your brand is not only like what you're doing, but what other people are doing and how you're helping them. So, and it's completely free. It's not like, we're going to charge you to be here in a membership. No, this is the work that you put in, and the work that you want to showcase is going to help you with whatever you want to do, whether it's, make a career change or, have it as a part-time thing, but have a showcase maybe because it leads to different opportunities. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So I will definitely do a little event thing and try that out once this episode gets published. All right, dude.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. And you know what? Anytime there's an event there, we like to showcase it. So every day we post it on all our social media. It's like, hey, check out the new events, check out events coming up. Make sure you download the app so you can check in. But if not, these are the people that are on it. So, everyone's building their platforms with Facebook, Instagram. They're already doing all this work. We didn't want to give them something extra, but we wanted to give them an outlet that hits that demographic, specifically.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
For you, the listeners of Video Game Crosstalk podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. All you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/VGXTpod and sign up for your free trial and download one of over 180,000 titles, such as Book 2 in the Witcher series, The Time of Contempt by Andrzej Sapkowski. Once again, go to audibletrial.com/VGXTpod and sign up for your free trial.
And moving on to the final segment of the episode. These are the final 5 questions. I ask every guest 5 questions at the end of every episode. The first 2 are always the same, and the last 3 have a theme. So, here we go. First question, coffee or tea?
Tea.
What kind do you drink?
I would have to say if it's tea, it's like iced tea. I'm not a fan of hot drinks, but
really,
hot chocolate, I definitely would.
Okay. Well, I mean, everyone loves hot chocolate.
And then when I was in Germany with my wife, she's German, we had hot wine, and I'm not a fan of that. So, and I worked in a Stewart's for 8 years. For people that are local, they know what Stewart's is. So I could not stand coffee at all.
Oh, that's tragic. But all right, man, you enjoy your tea. You enjoy your tea. Okay, question number 2. So obviously you play video games. Do you play any tabletop games?
Yes. So one of my buddies is really big into tabletops, and he has like a pretty good collection. And before, like, the kids and obviously the pandemic and everything, when I had time to, sit down and play, get together, play games together, we were playing a lot of Dead of Winter. It's like,
I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, it's an awesome game. It's like a co-op survival, like zombie game, like, and one person's the creator. But you have to complete missions as a team, but individual. So everybody has like a team mission, and then in their card they have an individual mission. And
nice. Okay, I've played that type of game.
Yeah, and one might be like a saboteur. So like it's a cool game. It's fun. I love like King of Tokyo. Those are fun. Like just quick games. But yeah, I think I dabble into anything that they put in front of us just to play. I mean,
Nice.
it's I see it as a competitive.
That's competitive. Okay.
Yeah.
No skill here. Okay, we can go with that.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to the final three. And the theme for this, I'm going to work with the word fame for claim to fame. And the whole thing will be about one-hit wonders. So, question number 3. In the topic of one-hit wonders, can you do all the dance moves to the Macarena?
Oh, yeah. I'm not a dancer, but
But you can do it.
Yeah, I come from a Hispanic heritage, so like when that song came out, obviously it was.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was just killed at every gathering, and so if I don't know that, like my mom would be.
Oh, your mom would have done it.
Yeah, so I could do it. It doesn't look pretty, but I can get it done.
But it can get done. But it'll get done. All right. Question number 4. Do you jump around for the entirety of House of Pain's Jump Around?
No, I turned that off. No, I'm just kidding. No, I get going on it, but I think I'm a big 90s. I love 90s music. And and that's a song that if it's on
it is very iconic.
Yeah, if it's on the list, you definitely when you put 90s hits on it, it gets you going, so definitely, yeah.
So this is interesting, and I just thought of this now. So my wife actually graduated from University of Madison in Wisconsin, and apparently this is like the song to play at their football games at UMadison.
Yeah.
To the point where, and I'm just going to assume that it's a rumor. I suppose I could check through the power of Google in front of me. They actually built their new stadium with the consideration of the fans jumping around while they played the song.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So it was demanded that song get played at our wedding.
Wow. All right.
Did you it was like that was a this needs to get done. It's all of her a bunch of her friends from college came. They're like, no, we're playing Jump Around. We are playing Jump Around. I'm like, okay.
It wasn't the song you guys came out to, was it?
No.
Okay.
I wanted to do the Halo 2 theme.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been great. But no, our DJ went with the classic, the Chicago Bulls entrance.
Oh, okay. Perfect. I mean, that's good too.
I mean, you really can't argue against that.
Yeah.
Okay, so final question to wrap this episode up. Name a one-hit wonder that you would think deserves a modern rock cover.
What
would you like to hear? Like, get a metal remix for a one-hit wonder.
Oh my God. I could think of a few. Metal. So, jeez.
Metal, rock, whatever.
Well, I know. So the Zombie song by the Cranberries. That got a metal cover by Bad Wolf.
I think there was like there must have been like an album. Because, like, I've heard a whole bunch of, like, rock remixes recently.
Yeah, definitely. And I would have to go with, hey, once you said 90s music, I always have my go-to 90s song. It's,
Yes.
Okay, and there's no judgment on this,
No. Let your free flag fly.
So I would like to see How Bizarre by OMC. That would be interesting.
That would be amazing. I want to hear someone scream How Bizarre.
That would be something very interesting to hear, yeah.
Well done, sir. Thank you so much for that song suggestion. And that is all the time we have for this episode. Time for end of show plugs. You can follow me around on the internet pretty much everywhere at Hypersyntax, HYP3RSINT4X, or you can follow the podcast directly on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can also visit the website for full show notes and other blog posts at videogamecrosstalk.com. Additionally, my Destiny lore videos have been picking up steam. There's been a lot of fun to do. So you can go check those out at youtube.com/c/videogame crosstalk. And as for my guest, Mike, where can our beautiful listeners follow you around?
So everything we do is, or everything I do is basically through like Claim to Fame Entertainment. It's very, I know it's long, but it's stuck. And that's Facebook,
The URL was available.
Exactly. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter is a little different because obviously you can't fit that. They give you a character limit. So it's C2F Gaming. And then, we have our TikTok. I do just kind of meme videos of college.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing like crazy, but spectacular, but funny videos. I tie in a lot of 90s music in with it, so it's pretty.
I guess I'm going to have to go check it out now.
Definitely. So yeah, Claim to Fame Entertainment. If you search that, we're definitely coming up everywhere for anything with gaming. Since we do have it trademarked in the eSports space.
Okay.
And in all our social medias, obviously, we've been building it for the last 5 years now. So, yeah, and then claimtofameentertainment.com. That's, again, long, but it sticks. It's part of our brand. And then the app is it is something separate, just so that we have like an informational piece, and that's claimyourfame.gg. And you can find all the information about the app on either on both websites, but that one's just more informational piece for it. So,
all right. And if you are a gamer or know a gamer that wants to talk some tech and science news, let me know. Do you know some tech news you'd like to hear discussed? Do you have any other general questions you'd like to hear answered on the show? Send an email to videogamecrosstalk@gmail.com and give me the deets on what's going down. Please don't forget to like, review, subscribe, and share this podcast all over your social media accounts, and we can be found on pretty much any podcast listening service. Thank you one last time for hanging out with us, and Mike, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
All right. And in the words of Confucius, it does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop.